off the heels of a very exciting NXT takeover in your house, we welcome you, everybody, to another edition of Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, as always, your ridiculously over good brother, Anthony Florio, joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher, the phenom Michael Bullock, fresh off another one of our epic Raw chats. And believe me, this is the most fun we've had on a Raw chat in a long time, let me tell you. Um, Unfortunately, Dee Woodson, the Twisted Angel, Dee Woodson, and the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, not with us this evening. Um, she's on she's on a leave of absence because of obviously with everything going on with her over the last 24 hours or so, and we wish her nothing but the absolute best. And take all the time you need, Dee, and whenever you're ready to come back, just let us know. We'll let you in. So we're thinking of you. Our thoughts and prayers are with you. So with all that being said, gentlemen, man, Takeover in your house set the bar last night, but Monday Night Raw, I mean, goodness, amazing. That's all I can say on this. Man, high end from the top to the bottom, just amazing. So go home show to Backlash, and all I can say is we definitely put NXT and SmackDown on notice for the TVs this week. Goodness, Bullock, you had your night last night, but Raw, we had our night tonight, and oh my goodness, especially that main event though. Oh my word. So there's really nothing more to say. Let's just dive right on in. We started it off with an in-ring segment. Well, actually, no, this was not really an in-ring segment. It kind of started as an in-ring segment, but then this was originally scheduled to be Charlotte versus Asuka one-on-one, but then we had some guests from SmackDown crash the party, and I know very much to the delight of MF. His brand new women's tag team champions, Bayley, one half of the women's tag team champions and the reigning SmackDown women's champion, along with Sasha Banks. They show up and they interrupt Asuka, and then Charlotte comes out, and then all of a sudden the Iconics show up, and then all hell breaks loose, and then we end up getting a triple threat match, non-title. Bayley and Sasha Banks versus the Iconics versus Charlotte Flair and Asuka. The winners of the fall. I just have to get a time of the fall here. Just bear with me for one moment. Gotta get everything up here. 10 minutes and 50 seconds. It was Asuka and Charlotte Flair. Asuka putting Billie Kay in the Asuka lock. So, and this actually is a 2-for-1 deal. So I'll say it, a decent verbal segment, and that's really all there is to say on that. I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. But the match, though, oh man, very, very good matchup here. It was an energetic opening segment that led to a solid triple threat tag match. However, the end result was misguided. Charlotte and Asuka are singles competitors. They should not have dominated this tag team match, especially while getting in each other's way. The contest made the Iconics look bad. For weeks, WWE has done an admirable job with Peyton Royce and Billie Kay becoming threats since their return. They should be one of the most dangerous teams in this sparse tag team division on the women's side. But other than that, though, a solid way to start off the show, a decent, energetic opening verbal segment, and then the match. I could probably give it about 3, maybe 3.25 stars at the absolute best. And it was announced earlier today that at Backlash Sunday night, Bayley and Sasha will have their first title defense of their newly won women's tag team championships, and they're going to be defending against the Iconics and Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. So SmackDown has a a 66% chance of keeping the women's tag team titles on the show, because you got Bayley and Sasha from SmackDown. You also have Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross from SmackDown. The Iconics, though, they're the odd team out. They're the only ones representing Raw, so they only have a 33% chance to win. But we've seen them do it before. We saw it at WrestleMania last year, but that benefited SmackDown. So we're going to have to wait and see. So solid opening segment, 3 to 3.25 stars for the match. Nothing more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. I mean, what can I say? I mean, your champions, they crashed our party, and but boy, they gave us something. They gave us something good here, and that triple threat match at Backlash. I mean, SmackDown's got a great chance because 2 of the 3 teams are SmackDown Live teams, so you got a good chance there, MF.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It was a solid segment. The talking segment was solid. It was a good fight. This was about 2.5 to 3 stars. I totally agree with you on that one. The outcome was not in doubt. Obviously, they were going to give it to the Raw team. They want to make. It was really weird though. Why would you advertise Charlotte versus Asuka and then pull the okey doke? Typical WWE booking more than anything else, but it was good. That was a nice win for Charlotte and Asuka to get. On top of that, you protect the SmackDown team of Bayley and Sasha Banks by not letting them take the loss here. And poor Iconics, man. I mean, they're on a tailspin a little bit. It's weird because of the fact that it was supposed, when they came back, we're thinking, all right, maybe they get an opportunity, but I think Peyton got disqualified in the last tag team title fight that was against Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. Now, I think you said, Anthony, that Peyton takes the loss again tonight. Was she the one that took the loss, or was it Billy who took the loss?
I gotta check the.
I thought you said Peyton at first.
No, it was Billy Kay.
All right, so Billy takes the loss here. So I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird because of the fact that they were so strong, so good, and now all of a sudden you pulled the rug out from under them. Well, we'll wait and see what happens. Hopefully it's better, but yeah, this was a solid fight. Nothing more to say. Good match. 2.5 to 3. Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. This was definitely a 2.5 to a 3-star match. I mean, certainly a good way to start off this edition of Monday Night Raw. I mean, yeah, I mean, who would have thunk that we would have I mean, obviously with the show being invaded by the women's tag team champions. I mean, yeah, I mean, like you said with the Iconics, Fletch. I mean, who knows what's going on with them? I mean, especially ever since they came back. So, yeah, so we'll definitely wait and see how everything plays out. So there's really nothing more to say, Florio. Let's move on.
And then we move on to another segment with Rey Mysterio via satellite, and but Seth Rollins was out there as well. Seth Rollins was at the commentators table during this, and Rey Mysterio said he refused to retire. And I mean, what else is there to say on this except Mysterio is telling his best story to date since returning with Seth Rollins. It's nice to have him do more than just wrestle. He and Rollins have chemistry on the mic, which is rare for the legend. Mysterio was never that great of a talker, but Rollins is pulling out his best emotions right now. And Aleister Black has benefited even more from this story. He looks unstoppable. Rollins has been outmatched by the rising star. It would not be surprising if the Dutch Destroyer perhaps gets a shot at the WWE Championship someday. And quite frankly, I would love to see that myself. So short and sweet and to the point. And then it led into a cutout tag team match. It was Aleister Black and Humberto Carrillo against Austin Theory and Murphy. Black and Carrillo win the match 2 minutes and 20 seconds. It was another case of the baby faces getting the win, and yet the heels getting their heat right back. So that's really all there is to say on that. So that was there wasn't really much to get into on that. But this we got to get into here. It was the Peep Show. Christian returning with the Peep Show. His special guest, none other than his longtime best friend and tag team partner, the Rated R superstar, the Hall of Famer Edge. Oh my goodness. Now, if any of you were expecting, the old Edge and Christian hits, the benefit of those with flash photography, the 5-second pose, or any of their past hijinks, a la their show that reeks of awesomeness on the network. I mean, if you were expecting any of that, or if you were even expecting for them to maybe break out the old kazoo, you can ask MF, because MF and I, you remember that one segment on Monday Night Raw 20 years ago where Edge and Christian played the kazoo and Triple H got all bent out of shape. I mean, it was one of our all-time favorite segments. And that was when the comedy skits they did back then were actually funny. But this was no laughing matter here. Christian went there. MF, I mean, I'll be honest, going into this, I thought we were going to see these two play their old hits, but I did not expect this to be not only as serious as it was, but this segment ended up being, you can make an argument, if not segment of the night. This was amazing.
Yeah, it was. And I think what it was that they brought a tone that was so different, because we were expecting campy comedy. We were thinking, this is going to be funny, haha. But no, it was brass tacks. It got serious. And the thing is that they talked about a lot of things that, they talked about the wife, the kids, what Orton could do to Edge, the neck injury that, yes, you're back, but what if you get hurt in this fight? The fight that they had at WrestleMania. Everything got laid out in such a systematic way that it makes you more gripped to the fight. And yes, I know a lot of people's been on the case of a lot of people talking about, that they're overhyping it as the greatest wrestling match of all time. And I get that. And there's no doubt about it. Total agreement. But to do what they did today was absolutely flawless, and it made us feel like, oh my god, this is a must-watch fight, and now I am fully invested. If you weren't fully invested then, you're fully invested now. Edge versus Orton on Sunday night, on pay-per-view, or on the WWE Network, and, let's go. I'm ready. I cannot wait for this fight to happen. They did it. What they did was they made it a humanized moment. And that's excellent. The story was incredible. Segment of the night, no doubt. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Oh, yeah. This was definitely the segment of the night, hands down. I mean, what can you say? I mean, yeah, going into this, we thought we were getting the typical funny stuff that we saw with Edge and Christian, with the show that reeks of awesomeness, or the benefit of flash photography. No, we didn't get any of that. I mean, we got Christian went there, but he did it to basically to motivate Edge, to wake him up, and I think it may have woken up something inside Edge to make him believe that he can do this, that he can beat Randy Orton in a wrestling match in an actual wrestling match for the first time in a long time. So I cannot wait to see what goes down on Sunday night when these when these two go at it again, only this time in a wrestling match. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
What else is there to say, guys? This was the segment of the night. I mean, oh my goodness gracious. I mean, they surprised the hell out of me. I really was. I mean, I really did not think this was going to amount to anything. I thought it was going to be, they were going to play the old hits and it was going to be a touch of nostalgia, but no. Christian has always been a fantastic speaker, and he made the most of this segment, even as Randy Orton and Edge cycled. It was nice to see the friends reunited. Nobody brings more out of the Rated R superstar than his former tag team partner. And it will be nice to get past Backlash to stop hearing the greatest wrestling match ever. It has been too much for too long. Hopefully, Edge and Orton will do what they can to not make the tagline look completely laughable. I mean, that's really all there is to say on that. But man, this was so fun. I mean, bravo. That's all I can say on that. I couldn't believe it. I was absolutely stunned. So you guys never know. I mean, you think one thing, you think 1 minute it's going to be bad, but then the next minute they ended up giving us this. Well done. That's all I can say on that. Well done. So, segment of the night, hands down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, my friends. No, not at all. So, I mean, what else is there to say? So let's just continue on here. Then we had. Just bear with me here. Then we had the latest chapter of the Viking Raiders Street Profits nonsense. This ended up being a decathlon. And that's really all there is to say on that. So, simple question. Why do these skits keep happening? Move on. So that's all there is to say on that. But we're going to move on here now. And this is really where the show really kicks into high right here. A triple threat match, number one contendership for the United States Heavyweight Championship. Kevin Owens versus Andrade versus Angel Garza. The winner will face Apollo Crews for the United States Heavyweight Championship this Sunday night at Backlash. Winner of the match in 13 minutes and 45 seconds. And the number one contender, El Idolo. Yes, Andrade. Andrade gets the win. 13 minutes, 45 seconds. Michael Bullock, El Idolo, has an opportunity. He pulled an ultimate opportunist tonight, and because of that, he gets another shot. He gets his rematch to get the title back.
Yes, he does. I'm going to give this about maybe 3.25, 3.5, maybe leaning more towards 3.25. This was a good match, no doubt about it. I mean, yeah, I think the outcome was without a doubt. I mean, Andrade was going to get another opportunity here. I think for Angel Garza, I think would have been too soon for him to get an opportunity. And we've seen Kevin Owens battle for the U.S. title before. But, yeah, now Andrade has a second chance here. Well, the thing is now, and Fletch, unfortunately, we saw a little something happen during this match here. And I know you're not going to love it, but Zelina Vega got hurt in the match. Basically, with the ongoing problems with Garza and Andrade, and she hurt her nose in the process. So yeah, so the victory, I guess you could say it was a bittersweet one, because after the match, I mean, you saw backstage when the two were arguing, and then Zelina Vega shows up, and well, let's just say right now she was not in a good mood with either one of them. I mean, you really think she was going to be in a celebratory mood after what transpired? No way. And and I'm sure Fletch will get more into it when we get to him. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio Andrade got the win, but I think he's got more problems than trying to win the United States Championship.
Absolutely, and but like I said, this is where the show really picked up. This is where the show kicked into that major high here tonight. 3.5 stars. You can make an argument for 3 3/4 of a star. I mean, this was a fantastic match. I think it is really good for WWE to keep pushing the United States Heavyweight Championship forward. This triple threat was a focused battle between 3 talented men. KO got the short end of the stick in terms of focus, but he still shined thanks to his speed and athleticism. The only real problem was the lack of respect for Andrade and Garza's dynamic as a tag team. They turned on each other too quickly, and they didn't even care when Zelina Vega got hurt. That felt like a story that would have worked better 3 months down the line. But nonetheless, a very entertaining triple threat match. Zelina, though, she took a very nice bump at ringside, and I enjoyed the way that both the heels wanted the title match for themselves and were willing to fight one another in order to get it. KO has another out for losing, since there were times where it felt like a 2-on-1 handicap match. But nonetheless, this was entertaining as hell. This was really where the show really peaked, right here. So Andrade gets another opportunity. He gets a chance to regain the title he lost to Andrade a couple of weeks ago here on Raw. So that'll happen Sunday night at Backlash. So as I bring in MF, this would have been a great commentary moment here. And when we saw Andrade and Garza go at it, you would be like, and they are going at it. And I would have said, well, it's a shame what happens when there's money involved.
Yeah, but the thing is that it's a different situation because I'm not the lead commentator for Monday Night Raw, so it would have to probably go the other way around. No, understandable, but then you probably would have heard me go absolutely nuclear when Zelina got hurt. So you would have seen me saying.
Bullock and I immediately thought of you when I saw Zelina take the bump. I was like, uh-oh, if MF gets word of this, he's not going to be too thrilled about it.
Oh yeah. Not only did I heard it, I saw it when it happened. So you could already tell how gnarly I was at that moment. So
yeah. When that happened, I was literally pulling a Shaggy. I'm like, Zoinks!
Yeah, so no, it was a great match. I mean, 3.5 stars, definitely one of the top fights of the night, and this was a great battle. Look, I'm happy Andrade gets another opportunity at the title. I think they did the right move by giving him the rematch more than anything else. Now the thing is that what do they do next? And I think that's going to be the big question now is what do they do? Do they try to put the belt on him, or do they go some other path, or what's going to happen? We'll wait and see, but lo and behold, I think they've done a really good job, and I really enjoy it. So, no, this was a great fight, no doubt about it. Florio, top fight, one of the top fights of the evening, and that's it. So, yeah, it's all yours.
Absolutely, and me personally, I want to see Cruz hang on to it for a little bit. I really hope they don't flip-flop it back. I really hope, because that's what's killed the United States Heavyweight Championship for so many years, hot potato booking. And I pray that Apollo Crews does not fall victim to that hot potato booking. I like to see him get a decent run with it, especially after everything he's been through.
I got another saying. Hopefully they don't flip-flop with it.
Oh yeah, flip-flop. Yeah, that's good too. So nothing really more to say on that. Then we moved on. Well, you could make an argument for this to be another 2-for-1 deal here. We had the VIP lounge, MVP. He was prepared to have Bobby Lashley as his guest, but he was interrupted by the WWE champion Drew McIntyre, and then one thing led to another. Bobby Lashley showed up, and then all hell breaks loose, and then the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders show up, And then it leads into a tag team match with the Viking Raiders squaring off against Bobby Lashley and MVP. Bobby Lashley and MVP, they win the match 15 minutes and 15 seconds. Wow. I got to call it sleeper fight of the night. I mean, this story has done wonders for Lashley. He feels unstoppable. And while it does not help anyone for him more or less to beat the Viking Raiders in a match as they prepare for a future Raw Tag Team title match, this contest certainly served its purpose. I know there are some who felt that it went too long, but no, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, this was a very good match. This was a hard-hitting match. I mean, I'll sum it up by saying this was a Be a Man fight. That's what this was. This was an MF special. I mean, this was physical, smash mouth in your face, hard-hitting, and this ended up being the second best fight of the night. Honest to goodness. And I can't believe in the rating I'm about to give this, but I think based on the body of work, it deserves this rating. I'm going to give it between 3 3/4 to 4 stars. Second best fight of the night. And if a certain match later in the evening didn't blow us all away, this would have ended up being surprisingly the fight of the night. Very impressed. Well done. So, and the VIP lounge segment was fine for what it was. And that's all I can say on that. But that tag match, man, that was a sleeper fight of the night, hands down. So nothing more to say. MF, Lashley and MVP and the Viking Raiders, 15 minutes, and they gave us that. Wow, what a match!
I think the biggest, the only knock I have about the fight isn't the Viking Raiders a heel team, and isn't Bobby Lashley and MVP a heel team?
No. There is mutual respect between the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders, so I think they're still a face team. I haven't heard anything about them being a heel.
All right. Well, I don't know. It felt weird. It did because with all the because personally because of the hijinks between the Viking Raiders and with the Street Profits and this competition that they're doing, that's why I was wondering who is the face and who is the heels in this battle, and that's the reason why when I saw this fight, I was like, wait a minute, heel versus heel, that makes no sense, but they absolutely tore the house down. It was an incredible match. It was a great battle, and I really enjoyed it. So no, I think it was a great match, and I totally agree. 3 3/4 of a star, and you can easily say, again, one of the top fights of the evening. No doubt about it. Michael Bullock, is yours.
Yeah, 3 3/4 of a star for me. I mean, I didn't expect this to be this good. I mean, going into this, but man, I mean these two teams I thought looked really good in this. I mean, it was a great match. I enjoyed it. I'm sure everybody else did. I know, like you said, there was probably some people who said it went too long, but no, I mean it was definitely. I definitely enjoyed it as well. So there's really nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, unreal. So we'll definitely have to look into that. No question about it. But it is what it is. So, all right, gentlemen. This was where, I mean, like Mauro Ranallo once famously said during the takeover, there are no words as to how I can get into this next match, but I'm going to do my best here. It was the Raw Women's Champion Asuka versus Charlotte Flair, the one-on-one match. We got it after all. Winner of the match in 27 minutes and 15 seconds. Charlotte Flair wins the match. Nia Jax providing that momentary distraction. Now, MF will be leading off on this, but MF, I gotta let you in on what Bullock and I said as we wrapped up our Raw chat with this match. if Nia doesn't get involved, this would have been 5 stars instantly.
4 3/4.
you?
4 3/4. It doesn't get the full 5. If Nia doesn't get involved, you got the 5-star. No doubt about it. I totally agree. That it's such a disappointment because of the fact that they didn't need to go that route. They did not need Nia to go there. This instantly was the best match of the entire series between Charlotte and Asuka. This was better than WrestleMania, better than any match that they could have done. This was an absolute masterclass. This would have been the women's fight of the year. This would be the women's fight of the year in any other situation if we would have had a clean finish. But because Nia stuck her nose where it didn't belong, it only gets 4 3/4. It is fight of the night, no doubt. But it does not get the 5-star rating because of Nia had to get involved. If Nia didn't get involved, it was 5 stars. It had all the makings of a 5-star classic. It's such a damn shame that Nia got involved and ruined it. Because if she didn't ruin it, you guys had a 5-star. We had a 5 stars on our hands. Michael Bullock, it's all yours.
I agree. I mean, 4 3/4 of a star. I mean, it was on the verge of 5, but Nia Jax had to get involved. I mean, seriously, WWE didn't need to do this. They didn't need to. I mean, if you wanted to, you could have waited till after the match was over, and then maybe have Nia Jax do it. But you had to do it during the match. That to me is my only nitpick with this match. I mean, this was definitely the best match of the matches that the Asuka and Charlotte had. But I'm going to tell you this, guys, and I don't know how you guys are going to feel about it. Nia Jax is really rubbing people the wrong way. I mean, first, we talked about it last week with the injuries that is, putting so many women on the shelf, especially breaking Becky Lynch's nose. And there was something that I caught on the on WWE's Instagram page where I think it was during a segment where, where she said, Asuka, you didn't earn the title. It was literally you were handed the Raw Women's title because of hormones regarding Becky Lynch. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's like I'm telling you this right now, guys. She needs to be careful with what she does or what she says. Because if she continues down this path, WWE, they need to address this, or they need to fire her, because she is going to rub a lot of people the wrong way if she continues doing these things. That's just something I just wanted to address. But 4 3/4 of a star, fight of the night. Florio, it's yours.
Bullock, as I said to you as we wrapped up our Raw chat this evening, it was right there. They had it. I'll admit it. They were right there. It was at the 5. Nia shows up, bam, there it went. We've seen this before. One match that is a perfect example, and it was MF who admitted it. That 2014 Money in the Bank ladder match that Seth Rollins won because of Kane. We said that was a 5-star classic, but Kane got involved and that ruined it. He doesn't get involved, that's a 5-star as well. Same thing if Nia doesn't get involved, this was 5, and I could probably say the greatest women's match in Monday Night Raw history. And this, but even with this, it's still the women's fight of the year. There's no question about it. I mean, my previous women's fight of the year was Charlotte and Rhea Ripley from WrestleMania for the NXT Women's Championship. But this blew that out of the water. This made that look like an absolute dud. That's all I can say on that. I mean, as always, Charlotte and Asuka have fantastic chemistry. This was a true main event with both women putting their all into a 20-minute clash after also dominating the opening triple threat match. This did reinforce how unnecessary the opening tag match was, though. As the Empress continues to build her legacy as champion, repeatedly losing to Charlotte feels like old hat. Before this is over, Asuka needs to get a definitive submission victory or some sort of definitive victory over the Queen. Very good main event. Asuka was protected with the sadly predictable Nia Jax interference. And I would actually prefer to see them wait for a key time for Asuka to get that elusive singles win over Charlotte. I think Asuka will barely get by Nia Jax, so maybe perhaps they'll build for an Asuka versus Flair Raw Women's Championship match for the July pay-per-view, or maybe even SummerSlam. And if you do that, then you put Asuka over and give Asuka that long overdue victory. She should have beaten Charlotte a long time ago, but I think if you do it at either the next month's event or even at SummerSlam, that's when you do it. So that's really all I can say on that. So nothing really more to say. Overall thoughts on this, final thought rather on this Monday Night Raw. Michael Bullock, wow, what a show. You can make an argument for show of the year for this point right now.
Yeah, you could definitely make an argument for it. I mean, this was definitely a damn show. I mean, yeah, we did. I think at least one or two cutouts, but all the other stuff I thought was really good. I mean, obviously highlighted by the fight of the night, Asuka and Charlotte. I mean, yeah, you definitely, and of course that segment with the Peep Show with Christian and Edge. I mean, it definitely really builds toward Backlash this Sunday night. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
I think this was the Monday Night Raw of the year so far. I mean, I know a number of weeks ago we had an equally great edition of Monday Night Raw, but I think this one was even better. I gotta call this as I see it. What do we have here tonight? We had 4 quality matches this evening, an amazing Peep Show segment. We only had only like a couple of cutouts, tops, but Charlotte and Asuka, they stole the dang show with their damn near 5-star classic. Lashley and MVP against the Viking Raiders was a pleasant surprise. I did not have any high hopes for that one, but they far exceeded my expectations. That triple threat with KO and Garza and Andrade, that was incredible as well. That opening triple threat women's tag match, that was very good as well. I mean, you had 4 matches that were at least 3 stars or higher, plus throwing that great Peep Show segment with Edge and Christian, and a couple of other solid segments here and there. I think we're talking about, if I was to give a rating, I would probably have to say this was probably about an 8.5 to 9 out of 10. Best Raw of 2020. So yeah, Bullock, you had your moment last night, and congratulations on a great In Your House. It was an amazing show with one of the most satisfying endings we could have had for one of those events in a while. And then from there, you know, we'll see what you have in store for Wednesday. But MF, SmackDown, we just put you boys on notice. You better pray that Bryan and Styles give us a Savage Steamboat 5-star.
I think we could. From all that I'm hearing about Bryan and AJ, I heard it is close to 5 stars, if not a 5-star classic. I think we're going to get it. So they said that the fight was worthy for the Intercontinental title. If it's anything if it's true what they said, batten down the hatches, boys. This could be an epic fight on Friday night. But no, this was 8.5 out of 10. I mean, Monday Night Raw killed it tonight. This was an absolute tremendous show, and you really can't knock it at all. So no, this was excellent, amazing. Mike Bullock, I give it to you. I'm in agreement with Florio. 8.5 out of 10.
I think Bullock led off on that, didn't you, Bullock?
I already did. Yeah.
Yep, Bullock led off. So, but yeah, but before I move on, I know this is something I normally don't address as part of my Tony's take, but Derek Ferreira just reported some breaking news just a few minutes ago. New Japan Pro Wrestling will be bringing back shows effective immediately, beginning next week on June 15th, and they will also be bringing back the New Japan Cup, and the winner will face Tetsuya Naito for the IWGP Heavyweight and Intercontinental titles on July 12th. So there's the breaking news, courtesy of Derek Ferreira. And
All right.
Just that.
No, great news. Definitely very happy to hear that New Japan is indeed coming back. That was, they were really hurt by the COVID-19 virus. They were one of the first companies in the world to shut down in wrestling, and they, I'm glad that the New Japan Cup is coming back. I would really like to know how they're going to determine that now. Are they just going to start from scratch? Are they just, because the bracket was set before the tournament was supposed to begin? So there's a lot of question that needs to be addressed before we get into anything. But, to know that WWE and AEW were still working while the pandemic was happening was a really tough thing to swallow. But now, slowly but surely, and even Impact Wrestling was still working while this pandemic was happening. So to get New Japan back in, that might be the sign that a lot of wrestling organizations will be coming back very soon. So yeah, there's really nothing more to say. That's great news for New Japan fans, and actually for wrestling fans around the world. That's great news to hear that New Japan's coming back. So yes.
Okay. So just wanted to get a quick thought from you on that, MF. So yes. So now we're gonna get into my Tony's take and the announcements. Oh yeah, the announcements are gonna keep on coming. So especially with what we're about to get into for Impact Wrestling. So just bear with me for a moment here as well, let me just get into Impact Wrestling here. Speaking of good shows, this was a good show too. Started it off with a Knockouts tag team match. Kylie Ray and Susie went up against Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. The heel team wins in 7 minutes and 45 seconds. It was a 2-star bout, very disjointed because of all the trash talk, but it played the character work. It was nothing special, but it picked up a bit at the end, and it was all right overall. Joseph P. Ryan against Crazy Steve. Joseph P. Ryan wins in 3 minutes and 26 seconds, another 2-star effort. Ryan and Steve, they work pretty well off each other, but I would love to see what they can do given more than 3.5 minutes. Rohit Raju against TNA original Chase Stevens from the Naturals. You remember them, former multi-time TNA tag team champions. My all-time favorite tag team rivalry in TNA was when the Naturals and AMW squared off. Man, did they have some classics. But this was anything but a classic. Rohit Raju won the match 5 minutes and 52 seconds. 2.25 stars. It was a solid match, but with Stevens looking good, considering that we haven't seen him in forever, and Raju getting a solid win. Had a couple of start and stop moments, but it was enjoyable for the most part. And then from there, it was a locker room talk segment with Willie Mack there and Chris Bay, other backstage stuff. And then here's the fun fight of the night right here. This is where the Impact really kicked into high here. Number 1 contenders match for the World Tag Team Championships. The Rascals against TJP and Falaba. Rascals win the match 12 minutes, 44 seconds, 3.5 stars. Lots of great action. these two teams matched up very well. The finish was really good. Told a great story to boot. Fight of the night up to that point. But then it gets better. The final match of the number one contenders tournament, it was supposed to be Ace Austin versus Trey Miguel, but Trey Miguel was laid out, and Scott D'Amore inserted Rascal member Zachary Wentz. So it was Zachary Wentz against Ace Austin. Ace Austin wins the match 17 minutes, 19 seconds. 3.5 stars. This was the fight of the night. I didn't like the way they got there. It made no sense. Why a guy gets all the way into the finals because his friend got beat up. But the match itself was very good. Ace Austin is a great heel. The right guy, obviously, considering the two, while Wentz looked fantastic between this and the tag team match. And next week on Impact Wrestling, we're going to have ourselves a triple threat match. Sami Callihan squaring off against Michael Elgin and Ken Shamrock. So that's going to be interesting to say the very least. That's got show stealer potential. Deonna Purrazzo. You remember Deonna Purrazzo, the Virtuosa? She is signed with Impact Wrestling, and I believe she's going to be making her in-ring debut. Tasha Steelz will go one-on-one with Susie. Johnny Swinger and Chris Bay will go up against X Division champion Willie Mack and cousin Jake. And then, of course, the big one. This is going to be the main selling point. We're also going to have a Knockouts title match with Jordynne Grace against Taya Valkyrie, a return match. And then the future of the Impact World Championship. As you all know, Tessa Blanchard has been stuck in Mexico with her fiance Daga, and has missed the last few tapings, and has been, with the COVID-19 restrictions on travel and the whole 9 yards. So because of that, Impact Wrestling is going to make an announcement about the future of the World Heavyweight Championship. So you definitely do not want to miss that tomorrow night. 8 p.m. Eastern on Access TV, with an encore at 11. And also, they debuted a new Impact Wrestling show last week called Impact in 60, looking back at some of the best Impact matches in history. And last week, we witnessed some of the best matches from the Asylum years. This was the old school. This was the original. This was NWA TNA. And all I can say was I was very impressed. I mean, all the matches that were on there, I never saw them until that moment, until that show. And I'm glad I did. It was fun for me. And tomorrow night, it's going to be the best of the X Division. So I can't wait to see what they have in store with the X Division. And also it was announced that Impact's next pay-per-view is going to take place on a Saturday night, if you can believe it. Saturday night, July 18th, Slammiversary. And if you saw the video, you saw superstars that formerly were working with WWE. Oh my. That's all I can say on that. I'm excited to see what they have in store. So that's very intriguing. So July 18th. Give it a look. That's all there is to say on that. So I can't wait to see it. So now we have 205 Live that went down last Friday night, as always. And all right, here we go. Took me a while to find it, but I got it. Oney Lorcan against Tahuti Miles. Oney Lorcan winning the match, 7 minutes and 47 seconds. 2-star match. It was an average match that seemed to drag. Miles still needs some work, and working with Lorcan and Burch will help him. The ending played off of last week, but the roll-ups are becoming a tiring trend on the show. I want to see more decisive and impressive finishes. Isaiah Swerve Scott against Jack Gallagher. Isaiah Swerve Scott, 9 minutes and 13 seconds, wins the match, 3 stars. They got a decent amount of time, built things into a good fight. Jack is fun with his catch style and groundwork, but knows how to keep it interesting and not just a rest hold. I like the fire Swerve has been showing, and it was a fun overall bout. But enough of the roll-ups. And then they showed an encore presentation of the Cruiserweight Tournament Final with Drake Maverick and El Hijo del Fantasma from NXT. And it was El Hijo del Fantasma winning the match at 11 minutes and 31 seconds. And we all know how that played out. That was the mega happy ending. So 7 out of 10 for this. It was a more of the same. It was a no-nonsense straight wrestling show. Opening bout was disappointing. Jack and Swerve was a good. And showing the final match, I appreciated that. And that was a very good match and a fine way to end the show. And I got so caught up in Impact with the announcements that I forgot to give you my overall thoughts on the Impact. I believe I gave that about 7 3/4, teetering on 8 out of 10, because that was a very good match. That was a very good show. Yeah, hang on one second here. Yeah, it was 7 3/4 out of 10, and everything on that was, a lot of good stuff came out of that, and okay, there it is. All right, yeah, 7 3/4, like I said, and from top to bottom, it really delivered. They're consistently improving week to week. There were some gaps in booking logic, but not all the matches were classic. But it was a great episode with a couple of very, very good matches. So that's all there is to say on that. So 7 3/4 out of 10. So that'll put the ball on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Very exciting show, to say the very least. And so that's all there is to say on that. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Let's set the table. Wednesday night Mayhem. Time, and what do you have?
10:30 Eastern, as always. And on top of that, AEW and NXT. What's NXT going to do after a very good In Your House? And then for AEW, how do you respond? It looks like WWE's finally got their legs underneath them now. I mean, good NXT, good, really good NXT In Your House. Now follow that up with a really good Monday Night Raw that went down here tonight. AEW, the gun's at your head. How do you respond? So we'll find out what they do on Wednesday night. And of course, NXT, how do you follow up from a very good In Your House? So we'll see that. 10:30 Eastern, we'll have it all for you. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yep, and I have the card. I have the card right here, MF. So for Dynamite, FTR will make their in-ring debut against the Butcher and the Blade. Colt Cabana will go up against Sammy Guevara. Cody will defend the TNT Championship against Mark Quinn of the Private Party. And Hager, Santana, and Ortiz of Inner Circle against the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy in a 6-man tag. Those are the taglines for NXT. I mean, for AEW, rather. Bullock informed me that when it comes to NXT, Finn Balor is going to be squaring off against, I believe he's going to be squaring off against Cameron Grimes. And the latest on maybe a celebration for Io Shirai, and the latest for Karrion Kross. So that'll all go down Wednesday night at 10:30. Over on MF channel, Race Fan 95. So that'll put the bow in. And then, of course, from there, Friday Night SmackDown, the highly anticipated Intercontinental match with Bryan and AJ. And then we'll do it again next week for Ridiculously Raw. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, it's your Ridiculously Raw good brother Anthony Florio here, signing off for good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, and in spirit, the Twisted Angel D.D. Whitson. And, of course, always and forever, Derek Forever. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who has been a part of this one for now, and they Floyo so long, bye, everybody. Bye.